Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about on today's episode is something that you need to be aware of what passed the House Judiciary Committee. Now, I'm going to walk you through all the details, but this is something that you can put yourself on a federal list managed by the Attorney General to not buy firearms. A self-imposed ban list, again, monitored by the Attorney General of the United States. But don't worry, the Democrats promise you won't be stuck on that list. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one. Now, if you are new, we are always looking to earn this subscription, try to grow the channel as much as possible to spread the 2A to the next generation, and we would love for you to join us in the fold and in the trenches. Thank you so much for your consideration, as we are always trying to earn that subscription. But now, let's get into this, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on this one. So, I'm going to do two ways here. I'm going to show you the article of reference, and then I'm going to show you something that Representative Thomas Massey said in the hearing itself. Now, he is the chairman of the Second Amendment Caucus. But let's get it first. Democrats push firearms purchasing ban for people who voluntarily give up their 2A rights. Legislation requires Attorney General to establish list of people who agree to be blocked from buying a gun. What could go wrong there? Now, keep in mind, this is a self-imposed list as we go forward. This is like I don't feel so good, I'm not so sure, so I'm going to put myself on a list, something that we've heard about before, but then trusting the Democrats that you'll be removed from said list. Let's get it. First of all, the guy monitoring it would be right here. Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. Nothing fishy has gone on with this individual in the past, 24 months. That's who would be monitoring this. Not to mention people in the future who are unnamed and are not sworn in. Here we go. The bill is aimed at preventing gun suicides, which supporters of the legislation say is claiming the lives of more than 25,000 Americans per year, which is just over half of all the gun violence deaths in the United States, for anyone keeping track. The proposal from Representatives Pramila Jayapal, Democrat Washington, and John Curtis, Republican of Utah, would let anyone who fears they may take their own life with a gun to enroll themselves on a list of people who would then be blocked from buying a firearm. Now, this, of course, sends so many red flags across the board. What happens on private person-to-person transfers? What if you think you're off the list, but you're not off the list? Do you trust the system to actually get you off the list? So many things. But let me show you what happened, and I'm going to show you where it went and what it's most likely going to end up. On Wednesday, the House Judiciary Committee approved the bill in a party-line vote after a debate in which Republicans said the bill is the latest attempts by Democrats to move the country toward a ban of firearms. I could see that. If you're putting yourself voluntarily on a list monitored by the federal government, first of all, that's a list. I don't like that. The second of all, this is monitored by the federal government, the Attorney General, who is anti-gun. That's not a good list. With the promise that they're going to fix the system and fix the bill that will allow you to get off in a reasonable amount of time. Again, just trust us. Nothing concerning there at all. Oh, goodness. But let's walk through what it might do. This legislation requires the Attorney General to establish a list of people who agree to be blocked from buying a gun, which will be known as the Voluntary Purchase Delay Database. The bill also requires the AG, Attorney General, to establish a process allowing people to have their names removed from the database. Those requests must be fulfilled within 21 days and must be accompanied by a declaration from a mental health professional who says the requester poses no risk of self-harm. So you're going to get off the list, but you have to have a note from a mental professional. This is extremely concerning, especially since there's no way to guarantee that they're even going to fix this, because this little nuance they're saying of going to fix it isn't even in the bill. In fact, I'm going to let Thomas Massey, the chairman of the Second Amendment Caucus, explain that. Check this out.
To perfect the legislation before it goes to the floor. It's not supposed to be fixed behind closed doors with later on. We know there's a problem with this bill. And I don't know why the other side is being dilatory, why they wouldn't want to fix it. They've admitted now that the bill does something they don't want it to do.
They've even admitted that the bill does something that they don't want it to do. In this hearing, the Republicans said it's going to criminalize people and it might not have a way to get off the list. Democrats said, yeah, it might. So instead of fixing it, they just passed it. Again, in a second, I'm going to show you where it's going. But let me show you what else Thomas Massey said, because this is a pretty good point.
If the language reads such as it reads, and So I would suggest, as Mr. Bishop suggested, this is the moment in time when you either fix the bill or pull it and bring it back later after you've figured out what your bill does.
And I love that on a personal note, because he's basically saying you don't even know what your own bill does, but you're going to pass it on a party line vote anyway. Which brings us to the next part of this bill's future. Yes, it did pass the judiciary today. In all honesty, in all reality, it would have to go to the floor of the House, which may or may not be voted on, and then it's got to go through the Senate. The Senate has to overcome the filibuster or agree to get past it through amicable means, and then get signed in by Biden into law. That's what would have to occur here. In my personal opinion, the likelihood of that happening is very small, but I wanted to bring this to you because as it goes through the judiciary, we now have people on record who can actually be held to account as we go forward, and they've now got it in the Federal Register where they can always just bring it back and put a different bill number on it. It's something to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys think in the comments field, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.